Hi, beauties. Welcome back to Beauty Defines podcast. On today's podcast, we're going to discuss why it's important to have standards and to create standards. A standard is a level of quality or grade used to measure someone or something. Now, it's important for you to distinguish standards versus preferences. You can adjust or compromise or even eliminate preference at your own discretion, beauties. But standards should be set pretty firmly. Here are some important reasons to set standards. Standards create guidelines and boundaries and instruct people how to behave and how to treat you. For example, have you ever searched for a job and realized that the only thing that was listed stated searching for new employee? There was no information about the qualifications for the ideal candidate, no information about compensation, experience, location, the application process? I guarantee you the answer is no. You have not witnessed such job posting. Now, employers typically list an opening with details and candidates apply for the position. The employer conducts the interview, and guess who decides whether you're qualified? The employer. The ball is in her court, and she decides whether you get the position or not. Oh yeah, even after the employer hires you, she can terminate you for a variety of reasons that do not meet her standards. The reasons are usually spelled out in the manual, aka the book of standards. Even if the reasons are not in the manual, the employer has discretion to terminate you when your behavior or conduct no longer serves the interest of her business. Now, if employers understand the importance in setting standards for their business, why don't you have standards in your own personal life? Why do you not use discretion to terminate people that no longer serve you and are toxic to you? Beauties, this is a question that you must answer at some point in your life. Standards will help you weed out the wrong people in your life. When you set standards, it will scare the wrong people off. On the other hand, having standards can attract the wrong people that are determined to use you. The wrong people know that they can't reach your standards. And instead of walking away, they stay to intent to manipulate you into lowering your standards for their own gain or benefit. Remember this, when an employer posts a job opening, unqualified applicants will apply for the interview as well. And they just might get an interview, but that does not mean that they will last. So you set your standards for men and you can still attract the wrong men. But remember, just like the employer, you have the power to warn or terminate that man. The ball is always in your court. So if you play the game right and know your powers, beauties, you will get exactly what you're asking and looking for. If you set your standards for friends, for example, you will inevitably attract the wrong friends because opposites attract. But you will have the power to end the friendship and love that friend from a distance. The same could be said for family members. Some family members are very toxic to your life. You are in charge. Raise the bar, ladies. Raise the bar, and you set the standard. Having standards, beauties, will make you the CEO of your life. Take control of it. Employees can influence the CEO, but they aren't the boss of the CEO. So sure, people will influence you, but you get the final say and you make the final decision. Now, beauties, it's important to be realistic with your standards. You must hold yourself to a high standard as well. Like attracts like. Be realistic. If you are what you ask for, you will be more likely to find it. For example, people always say, well, no one is perfect. However, I'll say that there are people in this world that are very close to perfection. There are men out there, for example, that are the full package, well-rounded. But before you set a standard, are you well-rounded? Are you the full package? If you are, then keep that standard and soon you will attract your equal. Level up, ladies, and demand others to level up around you. Another way to be realistic about your standards is to treat people the way that you want to be treated. If I expect you to be loyal, I am first loyal. And when I realize that you cannot stay loyal, it'll make it easier for me to terminate you because I consistently gave you what I actually demanded of you. And at that point, you're benefiting more than I am because you have a loyal friend and partner in me, but you're disloyal to me. The relationship is serving you, and it's not serving me. Beauties, you need to remember this. Most relationships on this planet that you're going to have are transactional. Majority of relationships are transactional, whether you want to admit it or not. And you need to make sure that you're not on the wrong side of the court. You need to make sure that you're not getting the lower, shorter end of the stick in this transactional relationship. Don't compromise on your standards. People will call you high maintenance or bougie for having standards, but you have to be okay with people judging you. When people can't meet your standards, they will tell you to lower it and criticize you. For example, if you want a man that's a provider, you will meet men that will tell you that you're just going to end up single. The cost of living is too high, or you're just a gold digger. Instead of saying, hey, I can't meet your standards because I can't provide, perhaps another man will, I guess it won't work. Instead of saying that, they will call you names and try to convince you to sway and to change your mind about your standards. Truth is, there's no such thing as having standards that are too high. And people that judge you for having standards, most of the time, if they were in your shoes, they would have those same exact standards. For example, if men were women for a day, they would expect their man to be a provider and be financially stable. But instead, they act as if they don't understand why you expect that. There are over 7 billion people in this world. Someone out there can reach your standards, in fact, exceed your expectations. People just want you to settle as a woman, and you have to make sure you don't play yourself. You need to seek environments where people hold themselves to high standards and are like-minded. They are less likely to complain about your standards and request you to lower them. For example, if you're a successful woman seeking a successful partner, successful men are actually less likely to criticize that preference. Remember, like attracts like most of the time. People only complain when they don't have it in them to reach the standard. And remember, you don't have to announce your standards to everyone, but you should have some. Beauties, I hope that you set standards for yourself and raise the bar. I love interacting with my audience. Please email me at beautydefined139@gmail.com if you have questions about self-development or suggested topics. As always, you are fearfully and, of course, you are wonderfully made.